Good day, everyone. I am Pacheco Cherilu, and together with Miss Platino, we'll be discussing the grounded theory designs. And so, at the end of the lessons, the students will be able to define, differentiate, identify, and describe the grounded theory study. And so, for my part, I'll be discussing what is grounded theory research, when should this theory be used, how did it develop, and the types of grounded theory designs. What is grounded theory? Grounded theory is a research method where a theory is systematically developed from data, rather than starting with hypotheses. Researchers collect and analyze qualitative data through a iterative process, allowing themes and concepts to emerge naturally to explain a phenomenon. The main point of grounded theory is to cultivate an understanding of social phenomena from the perspective of those experiencing them. When should grounded theory be used? When you want to develop a new theory from scratch because there's a little or no existing theory on a topic, or when existing theories are incomplete for your specific context, this is where you use grounded theory. Because it is especially useful for exploratory research on complex social processes, interactions, or experiences such as how people make sense of new experience or how social phenomenon evolves over time. The core principle is to let the theory emerge directly from the data rather than starting with hypothesis to test. Again, we use grounded theory when there's no existing theory about the topic, when a phenomenon is new or under research or not well defined by previous work. And so, how this grounded theory developed? Grounded theory was developed by social linguist Barney Glaser and Anselm Strauss in the 1960s as a systematic way to generate theory directly from data rather than from the existing hypothesis. It emerged from their 1960s research on death in hospitals and was formalized in their 1967 book. The title is The Discovery of Grounded Theory. Their goal was to create a rigorous, inductive, qualitative research method that countered the era's dominant quantitative theory testing approaches. Glaser and Strauss developed their method while conducting research on the interactions between medical staff and terminally ill patients and hospitals, which they published in their book Awareness of Dying in 1965. The three grounded theories. The first one is systematic or Straussian grounded theory. It is associated with Strauss and Juliet Corbin. Its core principle, it uses a more structured and systematic procedure to ensure rigor and theory development. It involves specific steps like open, selective coding, and often leads to a logic paradigm or visual representation of theory. Analysis into distinct phases, breaking down the data into discrete parts, relating categories to subcategories to form connections, and integrating and refining the categories around the central concept to develop the theory. The second theory is the classical grounded theory associated with Barney Glaser. Its core principle is to discover theory directly from data with minimal pre-existing theoretical influence to avoid bias. It emphasizes the original, more flexible, and conducive approach as presented in the 1967 book The Discovery of Grounded Theory. It focuses on open and theoretical coding to identify concepts and their relationships, which are then developed into theory. And the third one is the constructivist grounded theory. It's associated with Kathy Charmas. Its core principle is to view the research as a collaborative and interactive process between the researcher and participants. It emphasizes the social construction of reality and the importance of participant defined meanings. It recognizes the researcher's presence and perspective are integral to the research process. And the constructivist grounded theory, it encourages a more flexible coding approach that accounts for the subjective experiences and interpretations of the participants. And I think that's it for my part, and the next part will be discussed by Miss Platino. Thank you everyone and have a good day.